Good evening. I'm Dr. IELTS. I'll be doing your practice speaking test with you. Could you tell me your full name, please?
Sure, my full name is Wang Hongjie, and you can call my English name Anna.
Okay, Anna. Give me one moment here to start the clock. And so, Anna, do you work or are you a student?
Well, currently I'm a student in the Guizhou University of Finance and Economics, where I am doing a degree of accountancy.
See. Do you like this major?
Sure. Cause I can discover the numbers and make them balance in the account, which makes me feel interesting.
And what do you plan to do in the future?
Well, if I had a chance, I will want to be a white, cause I'm a cat person. So I want to touch them, and if I will be a white, not only I can earn money for living, but also I can touch cats every day.
All right. Let me ask you about happy things. Is there anything that makes you feel happy lately?
Well, if my memory serves me well, uh, in the last month, I took a travel with my mom, and we took. I enjoyed a breathtaking scenery, which made me feel happy.
I see. And so, what do you think will make you feel happy in the future?
Well, I guess it will be find I find a job, have many salaries.
So, do you feel happy when you buy new things?
Mm, sure, cause buying things can make people feel happy, and I always expect receiving them.
I see. Let's talk about the library. Do you often go to the library?
Well, it's quite rare for me to go to the library because I don't like the atmosphere in there. It's quiet and I feel depressed in there.
And so, what do you usually do in the library?
Well, I consider it depends on different situations. If I haven't finished my coursework, I may do them to finish them in the library. But if I uh don't have some work to do, I may borrow some books from the library.
Did you go to the library when you were a kid?
Well, if my memory serves me well, uh, I didn't go to the library often when I was a child, because I was occupied by my study. I need to finish my home. I needed to finish my homework and also attended to some extracurricular class.
Mhm. And so, do Chinese kids go to the library?
Well, I don't think so. Cause just what I said before, they were occupied by their study.
I
Uh,
see. Okay, thank you. In this next part, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. You understand?
yes,
Okay. And so the first thing we're going to do is confirm that you can see the topic. So give me just a moment to put it on the screen. Seems to be fighting me for some reason. There we go. Once you confirm that you can see the topic, I'll start the timer, okay? And,
Okay, I can see it.
all right, I'll give you 1 minute to prepare. Okay, Anna, remember you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. Don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Well, off the top of my head, I want to describe one of my best friends, Teddy. If my memory serves me well, it was 3 or 4 years ago. At that time, I was invited by my friends, and it was the first time I met Teddy. He was one of my classmates, and he was also invited by his friends to his birthday party. Uh, at parties, I felt embarrassed because I didn't know the other peoples in the parties, and I didn't know how to do. At that time, Teddy noticed me and came to me and had a chat with me to uh, let me let me feel chill out a bit. Talking about what we talked about, um, we talked about a lot of things, from the pets to the sports, and finally we found that we have the both the hobby. We had the same hobbies. Uh, that it was the play. That it was the badminton, and we promised that we played together in the next time. Well, explain why I enjoyed talking with Teddy. Well, I considered he is a humorous person and also a warm-hearted person. He noticed me and wanted to me feel relaxed.
All
So
right,
if
thank you. And so, Anna, do you go to a lot of parties?
not very, cause I'm not a people person. Uh,
Mm. All right. We've been talking about a time that you met somebody at a party that you enjoyed talking to, and I want to ask you some questions related to this. So, Anna, in what situations would people be willing to get to know new people?
Well, I consider there are several situations for that. Firstly, when people go to a new environment, uh, they may need to uh, they may need to uh, they may need to know some other people, like their classmates or their roommates. Additionally, some students in the school may also willing to make friends with others, because they may need to find a friend with them.
I see. So, why would they need to find a friend with them?
Well, because they can enjoy quality time together. I mean, they can go to the class together, and in the spare time, uh, play. I mean, play video games or uh, enjoy a pavement coffee together.
Mhm. And so where do people go to meet new people?
Well, I think there are several places for people to meet people. For instance, in the bar, it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to know other people in the bar, cause uh people may relax with the alcoholic, so they may like to talk with others. Additionally, I also think in the schools may also meet new people, cause you can make friends with your classmates or your roommates and something like that.
Mhm. According to you, a bar is a good place to meet new people because they can relax with the alcoholic. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, for some people, they may feel nervous when they have a chat with strangers. But after they drink the alcoholic, they may feel relaxed and brave to talk to others.
Mhm. And so, how do people start a conversation?
Well, they may start a conversation well, I think it depends on different situations. For some people, those who are not familiar with, they may start conversation with the climate or the recently news, uh, instead of their personal information. But for some people you are familiar with, like your friends or your parents, they may start a conversation with uh, their recently lives, and uh, yeah, yeah.
I see. What about for yourself? How do you start a conversation?
Well, I may choose recently news to discuss with others, uh, to find out if we have the same comments in this thing.
And so, would you say it's difficult for Chinese people to communicate with people from other countries?
Well, I think so. Cause there are several reasons for that. The main reason may be that they have different cultures. I mean, people may don't notice the cultures from the other countries because they don't learn about it. Additionally, the language also be a problem to talk about other countries' people, cause they may have some mistakes in their sentence, that foreigners may not understand it.
Okay, I think that's a good place to stop because that's sort of the difficulty I'm having is some of the things that you're saying I'm a bit confused by. And so we could talk about that now. All right. Uh,
Okay.
so have you taken IELTS before?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your experience with IELTS. When did you take it last? What was your score? What's the problem you think? So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I have attended the IELTS test for more than 5 times, and uh, each time my speaking point is 5.5.
Yeah, I can see why. There's a lot of things that are causing you some difficulty, and probably is that you've had Probably some bad information is what I'm thinking, because people have not corrected you in some key areas, and that's kind of keeping you at 5.5 or 5 in this case. There was a lot of things in here that I had some difficulty with, and that's probably not really your fault per se, because you've had a chance to get the correct information. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that I had difficulty with. Normally, the examiner is only writing down the timing for the clock, but for me, I get to write down the thing because this is a mock test. And so let's start with your major, which you said is accountancy, but your major is actually accounting, right? And then the pronunciation is, you don't say accounting, you say ACUNT, ACUNT, which is kind of funny, but it's not the right word. You also said that you wanted to be white twice because you want to work with cats. I want to be white, and I don't know what you mean by that. So how is it be white working with cats? What did you mean? Because in part one, I can't ask you what that means, but I'm very curious. What is a be white?
Uh, uh, animals doctor. Uh,
Oh, I see. So you're sort of translating like in Chinese, like the veterinarian word to be white. Oh, okay. Watch it out. Now I understand. What I that would keep me from sleeping tonight if I didn't know what you meant. I kind of wanted to do something with animals like a veterinarian, but instead of saying veterinarian or animal doctor, you said be white, right? So that's completely wrong for us. Uh, a lot of hesitation issues for the fluency and the coherence. Definitely, you're having some really big issues there in a couple of key places because you have a lot of hesitation. And so, one of the reasons why they keep getting 5.5 is because it's hard for you to do a couple of sixes. So, you're getting pulled down here. And then the pronunciation issues for a lot of your words are pulling everything down in this area. And so, it's affecting your grammar and your lexical resource. Things like you want to say salary. I want to get good salary, but you said salaries, right, for the same job, and so that's a problem. The other thing is you have kind of interesting intonation, like you said something about when my mom does a situation. So like your intonation kind of jumps around a little bit. You also like to say quite often, which is common for a lot of people. It's a verbal crutch. You also repeat a lot of things like well, 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 well. So I have that down at least 7 times. Your conjunctions, as far as your linking words, for you, it's mostly and. Everything is and. So I have a bunch of those along with the other count here as well. Um, you like to say this idea of if my memory serves me well, there's a well again, right? So that's something you kind of repeat a little bit. Instead of saying people, you say peoples, how to do. Um, I think that you wanted to say something about hobbies, but you said hobbit. And then any th sound, any word with th, the, this, then, there, they. For you, there's no th sound. It is all the letter D. And so instead of saying they, you say they, you say day. And so that changes the pronunciation, changes the grammar, right? And so then it changes the coherence. So it means the whole sentence. So it's pushing everything down. That's why I drew this line here for pronunciation, because it's affecting everything in this case. So for you, it's not there, it's dare, dare. It's not that, it's dat, dat. It's not other, for you, it's udder, udder. And so almost all of them. The other one that was interesting for me, aside from be white, was people like to go to the bar to relax with the alcoholic. The alcoholic is a person who is addicted to alcohol, and so they just drink alcohol all the time.
oh,
Alcohol, not alcoholic. And so then I actually did the follow up to give you a chance to change it by saying, oh, according to you, you go to the bar and relax by talking to an alcoholic. What did you mean? And so hoping that you would catch it and say, oh, I meant alcohol, right? So there's no reformulation. Like you don't make any correction even when they ask you the follow-up. So that's also not a good thing to do in this case. Another strange one, let's see. Oh, starting a conversation, you said we could talk about the recently news, but you don't mean recently news, you mean current news or recent news, right? It's a lot of word formation issues. And so that's also what's dragging down this score here and the lexical resource as well. And I would say that you really have difficulty in this area to paraphrase. So if I ask you a follow-up question, you're not really able to paraphrase. And so you can attempt, but it's not very successful. So there's some key skills that you are missing in speaking that are preventing you from getting past 5 or 5.5. You said you've taken the test 5+ times. So 5 plus how many times? 6, 7, 8, 10? How many times have you taken IELTS officially?
6.
That's fine. I had a student who did 12 times when they came to me, and then they had to do it 2 more times after our lesson. They were still pretty nervous. What's your time frame, your deadline? Is your deadline also mid-August, the same as Gotai's?
The mid of August.
Okay. You are a little bit lower than Gotai. Am I assuming that Gotai is also Teddy? Is that the same person?
Yeah.
He didn't tell me his name was Teddy, but from your story, I figured since he booked the test together, you two know each other, you have the same major, and so I figured this is 2 for 1 in this case. So, yeah, and so Teddy actually did a little bit better than you in some areas, but also he has some of the same problems that you have. Like he says, cuz, instead of saying because. And because it's IELTS, it's Cambridge, it tends to be a bit more formal. And so, yes, in movies and television, and you'll see people on Douyin or WeChat, they'll say, to speak English good, you need to clip your language, man. Like cuz, like that. But that's way ahead. That's farther in your ability. Right now, you should just work on doing the words correctly and exactly for IELTS. And then later, when you go overseas, you can learn to sort of relax and say, hey, cuz I want to do this, cuz I want to do that. But for the test, always keep it official. Say because it's a professional exam. Okay. Anna, questions for me? You can ask me anything in this case if you're curious. I would encourage you to ask questions since we're here.
Should I improve my pronunciation?
100%. I would start there because that is the thing that I think is causing you the most difficulty for communication in this case, because it's changing all the sentence structure. And so pronunciation is also pretty easy to do if you can work with somebody who has good pronunciation. Native speaker is useful, of course. There are some Chinese people that do teach and have good pronunciation, but generally speaking, most Chinese teachers have the same problem. And so it's hard for them to fix the problem when they have the same problem, right? And so that's why people, come to a native speaker, because they really want to make sure their pronunciation is correct in this case. I think correcting your pronunciation is something that you could do in a short period of time over the next few weeks if you practice. And then that way you could start to clear up the other parts, like for the vocabulary, for these word issues that you're having problems with. And so this is also very common for Chinese students, is because they learn a lot of vocabulary and they take exams, but they don't know how the vocabulary works between past tense or present tense or future tense. So they don't know the structure that way. And they also don't know the different sort of word forms between a noun, an adverb, an adjective, or a verb, right? Because words have sometimes different purposes when we change them. And so that's the other thing that I would be concerned about for you in this case. I don't think I would add more vocabulary. I would just try to manage the vocabulary you have now, which is to use it correctly, because you do have some things that you say that are useful. But on the other hand, the things that you're saying that are incorrect, I think probably would have to be improved. Let's say having a chance to do more speaking would be very useful if possible. And so the thing that I said to Teddy, I said, well, I'm going to go do your class. And I said, I can follow up with him later. What makes sense to me is that if you guys are comfortable, you probably should consider studying together online, working with pronunciation, because that way it would go faster. Because I think the deadline is pretty soon for both of you. And so that way, because of the scheduling or availability, it's also useful because then the 3 of us are talking in English and correcting each other and directing each other. So that's something to consider. I don't wouldn't make anybody, because sometimes students are very shy about their English with other students. But I'm going to make the suggestion to Teddy that if you guys decide to study, that maybe you should study together online in a group class with me, and we work on pronunciation and we work on some of the other issues and practice doing our testing for speaking. We would just only really focus on speaking because I think that's the only thing I can really help you with. I can give you direction and materials for the writing, the reading, and listening, but that's really on you to do the self-study. And we'd probably study, every other day or every few days, check where we're at with progress, give you some things to do. You go do those things, you come back, we check, and then we do the testing again. And then we send you away, and then we come back and do the testing again and see if there is any improvement by making suggestions. Then we record everything. We record everything because one of the first things you should do is to go back and watch the recording, because that helps you with your listening, because I'm saying a lot of things, and you also need to identify what you are doing, in the video, right? Like, oh, okay, realize that it should have said alcohol and not alcoholic, right? I should have said veteran or animal doctor instead of be white, right? So that's the kind of the situation. So the recording for me is one of the most useful tools. And then again, I'll have a conversation with Gotai and then see if we can make group classes what my recommendation is. And then how we do that is depending on your availability or desire or whatever else. And so that's something you guys can figure out. Any questions or comments for me?
No.
Okay. Well, no matter what, even if you don't study with me, keep studying. Don't give up, right? Keep going and believe in yourself and believe in each other. I think it's great that you two are working together one way or the other. And so push each other, Jayo.
Thank you.
All right. Be good.
Bye.